يا مرحبا واهلا وسهلا فيكم في برنامجنا الجديد سماشي كريبتو. شفنا طلب كتير كبير على محتوى العملات الرقمية والاستثمار، ولهذا انتم بتطلبوا ونحن منلبي. قررنا نعمل برنامج كامل عن والكريبتو كورنسيز، واليوم بأول حلقة محضرين لكم مفاجأة كتير كبيرة وكتير مهمة. غاري في رائد الأعمال الأمريكي والمستثمر عم يطلق ال NFT كولكشن الخاصة فيه، فخليكم معنا وتابعونا. رح نبدأ بأخبارنا اليوم، ولكن بالختام رح تكون مقابلتنا مع غاري في بكل التفاصيل المتعلقة بهذا الموضوع. علي، متحمس للبرنامج الجديد؟
الله، أكيد متحمس. أكيد
كونك مستثمر جديد بالعملات الرقمية يا جماعة، يعني علي امبارح بدأت الاستثمار بالعملات الرقمية صحيح؟
قبل أول أمس. أول أمس استثمرت في دوج كوين، إثيريوم واللايت كوين، يعني الثلاث القنابل
القويين. طبعا عندنا سؤال استفسار، شو المنصة عندك؟ مشكلة تخبرنا شو المنصة اللي عم تستثمر عليها؟
حاليا قاعد استعمل باينانس. برنامج حلو. باينانس اشوفه جدا يعني سهل، يعني سهل الاستخدام.
اوكي.
وحق شخص نفسي انه توني بادي بالكريبتو كرنسي او بالستوك ماركت او انفستمنت في هالسوالف. وايد زين، يعني سهل
استخدامه يعني.
اي، لان في لايت فيرجن وفي برو فيرجن. انا قاعد استعمل اللايت فيرجن عشان اتعلم.
حلو. شو الفرق بتعرف بيناتهم؟
اللايت فيرجن ما تشوفين مثلا الديتيلز مثلا الخبيرين يعرفون في مثلا في الستوك.
هاي مبسطينه اكثر للمبتدئين بالاستثمار بالعملات الرقميه.
يعني مثلا هناك في البرو تشوفين المارجنز، وين كانت، وين صارت، وين بتصير.
حلو.
يعني وايد في يعني معلومات
ممكن توجع لك راسك ببداية المشوار. ولكن علي، كنا عم نحكي انه قديت غيرت الامور، يعني الشباب والصغار واللي اعمارهم تعتبر يعني صغيرة عم بيستثمروا الان بالعملات الرقمية. عم بيصير في فعلا حتى مادة حديث بهذا الموضوع، فعلا متعطشين لمحتوى عن العملات الرقمية. ولذلك قررنا انه نعمل برنامج سماشي كريبتو متخصص بهذا المجال بالعملات الرقمية. رح نجيب لكم كل حلقة مختص نتعلم منه كيفية الاستثمار بالعملات الرقمية، وما هي أفضل العملات للاستثمار وغيرها من كل هاي التفاصيل. طبعا نحن عندنا حساب على الانستغرام اسمه سماشي كريبتو، ممكن انكم تعملوا له فولو، تابعوا كل الأخبار المتعلقة في العملات الرقمية رح تكون موجودة عليه. وبالإضافة إلى ذلك إذا عندكم أي سؤال عن العملات الرقمية فيكم تتواصلوا معنا عليه، ونحن رح نجاوب على أسئلتكم أو حتى نطرحها على ضيوفنا ببرنامج سماشي كريبتو لحتى المختصين يجاوبوكم على هذا الموضوع. وخلونا نبدأ أخبارنا لليوم ونحكي طبعا عن عملة الإثيريوم. يعني فعلا كانت عاملة ضجة بشكل كتير كبير بالفترة الأخيرة، وشاهدناها فعلا يعني عملة بلبلة. صح علي؟ أنت استثمرت فيها؟ مستثمر
بالإثيريوم.
إمتى بالضبط استثمرت فيها؟ كان بتتذكر الرقم اللي كانت عليه أول ما استثمرت؟
ما أتذكر.
كانت واصلة 3000
على ما أظن. الحين نزلت.
اوكي،
يعني في صارت فتره نزلت
تماما. هي ضلت لفتره طويله جدا عمله الاثيريوم على مستوى 1000 تقريبا دولار، بعدين يعني قفزت القفزه العظيمه لتوصل ل 1700، بعدين 2000 وصلت وضلت على 2600 2700 لفتره، ولكن كسرت حاجز ل 3000، ومن كم يوم كسرت حاجز 3400 دولار. ارتفعت العمله المشفره للاثيريوم باكثر من 350% منذ بداية 2021، وبلغت مستوى قياسي جديد فوق ال 3400 دولار مثل ما ذكرنا. وخلال العام الماضي ارتفع الاهتمام بالعملات المشفرة بسبب استمرار وارتفاع تحديدا عملة البيتكوين لمستويات قياسية جديدة. ولكن إثيريوم بتختلف عن باقي العملات المشفرة، حيث بتعمل كمنصة يمكن للمطورين بناء التطبيقات عليها. وتعد إثيريوم هي اسم الشبكة أو تقنية البلوك البلوك تشين الأساسية، وهي العملة الرقمية المستخدمة لتشغيل النظام الأساسي للبلوك تشين. وتستخدم العملة فيما يسمى أيضا في التمويل اللامركزي، وهي خدمة مالية قائمة على البلوك تشين، مثل مثلا عنا الإقراض، مثل عنا من خلالها يمكن الناحية النظرية تجاوز البنوك، السماسرة وغيرها. وبالشهر الماضي بنك الاستثمار الأوروبي أصدر أول سند رقمي له على الإطلاق على بلوك تشين باستخدام العملة المشفرة إثيريوم. وبيقوم الآلاف من المطورين ببناء تطبيقات تعيد إنشاء المنتجات المالية التقليدية بطرق لا مركزية باستخدام الإثيريوم. ومع تدفق المزيد والمزيد من المستخدمين للتفاعل مع هذه التطبيقات، فهم رح يحتاجوا إلى العملة لإجراء أي معاملة. وهو طبعا ما رفع سعر العملة لمستويات قياسية جدا لحتى توصل لأكثر من $3400 للعملة الواحدة الإثيريوم. وأيضا بمقابلتنا مع غاري لما أطلق ال NFT collection تبعه، أعلن إنه العملة اللي يمكن شرائها والاستثمار بال NFT تبعه هي عملة الإثيريوم، وتم اختيارها لسبب إنه هي القائمة على موضوع البلوك تشين وغيرها. خلونا ننتقل لتاني خبر معنا لليوم، حضري لكم اياه عن العمله اللي ايضا عامله بلبل كتير، اللي هي عمله الدوج كوين. يعني يبدو انه جنون المضاربه على دوج كوين ليس له حدود ابدا. العمله الرقميه المفضله للرئيس التنفيذي لشركه تسلا إيلون ماسك، ارتفعت العمله بالفعل بما يقارب من 50% منذ يوم امس، واكثر من 100% على مدار الاسبوع، بما يسمح لها انه هذا الاربعاء اليوم بالظهور في المركز الرابع في ترتيب أهم العملات الرقمية بعد عملة باينانس، وطبعا قبل عملة تريبل أيضا. بينما اعتدنا على رؤية دوج كوين تنفجر إلى أعلى مع كل تغريدة من تغريدات إيلون ماسك اللي بتتحدث فيها عن العملة الرقمية، أو حتى تشير إلى بشكل غامض أو بطريقة غير مباشرة. إلا أنه الموجة الأخيرة بالارتفاع ما إلها علاقة أبدا بتعليقات إيلون ماسك على غير العادة. بالواقع فأحدث المعلومات الرئيسية بخصوص دوج كوين هي أنه شركة الوساطة ايتورو المعروفة أعلنت أمس عن بدءها في طرح التداول عملة الدوج كوين. على الايتورو ما كانت عملة الدوج كوين موجودة، ولكن من يوم أمس بدأت وصارت الناس عم تستثمر فيها، وبالتالي توفير وصول مباشر إلى هذه العملة الرقمية لأكثر من 20 مليون عميل، مما بيزيد بشكل كتير كبير من سمعة هذه العملة الرقمية والمشفرة، وأيضا مصداقية العملة. كما أيضا يلعب إيلون ماسك دورا غير مباشر مثل ما معودين في صعود هذه العملة. بالواقع رح يستضيف رئيس تسلا البرنامج التلفزيوني الأمريكي ساتردي نايت لايف ليلة السبت، وبيتوقع العديد من المتداولين إنه إيلون ماسك قد لا يكون قادرا على المساعدة، ولكن طرح دوج كوين في هذه المنافسة أو في هذه المناسبة سيفيد بشكل كتير كبير، على الرغم طبعا من وجوب الحذر حيال تعاملاته مع جهات تنظيم السوق بالولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. وحتى ذكرنا كنا عم نحكي أنا وعلي قبل تحت الهواء على إنه هاي الموضوع شوي حساسة، اللي هو إنه الواحد يغرد عن الأمور المتعلقة بالسوق وغيرها. يمكن ما في غير إيلون ماسك هو الشخص الوحيد اللي لسه
بذكاء يعني يسويها بذكاء،
لأنه حذر جدا. وعلى فكرة أتوقع أنه بمرحلة معينة هو تعرض لمشاكل بخصوص هذا الموضوع.
ما خذ فترة بريك يعني
تماما.
مشى من تغريدات قال باخذ شوي بريك
تماما
وبرجع لكم.
تماما.
يعني أكيد يالا شي انذار من وراء من خلف الكواليس
ممكن تتوقع.
هدي الأمور، هدي الأمور قبل ما ناخذك.
تماما. عملة الدوج كوين وصلت هلا ل 0.5، يعني هي يعني لوقت طويل جدا كانت 0.01. لما ارتفعت ل 0.03 الناس كتير انبسطت وتوقعت انه واو، يعني انه في تطور، ولكن الان شفناها وصلت ل 0.1 بعدين 2 بعدين 3 والان وصلت ل 0.5. ومن المتوقع الناس في توقعات عندها كتير كبيرة انه رح توصل $1. امتى بتتوقع علي رح توصل $1؟
يقولوا يعني في انا على ردد شغال يعني ف يقولون 8 يوم السبت.
اوف بهالسرعة تتوقع؟
يقولون توقعات يوم السبت. بس نعطي مسافة لتوقعاتي، انا اقول هالشهر.
اوكي.
خلال شهر 5 احتمال كبير دوج كوين
توصل $1.
يعني ليش انا من هالنوع تفكير من هالناحيه. وايد صاروا الحين يشوفون دوج كوين ك يعني يشوفونه كسيريس، يعني شيء جديه، شايفينه بجديه. بس قبل ما كانوا يشوفونه،
بدأت كمزحه كميم.
ايه كان ميم، عملة ميم
تماما.
فوايد كانوا بس اوكي يلا بقط منه. بس الحين لا، شافوا انه لا خلنا شوي نستثمر. ف امس كانت يعني الستوكس للدوج كوين جنون
فوق تماما. هذا اللي
نحكي ساعتين فوق تحت. انا ربعي بالجروب نطرش اقول ايش صاير ندخل.
بس انا سعيده جدا بصراحه انه المحادثات تغيرت بين فئه الشباب. لما توصل لمرحله انه على الواتساب انت واصدقائك على الجروب عم تحكوا على الدوج كوين وعم تحكوا عن الاستثمار، فانا برايي هذا شيء رائع جدا، بغض النظر اذا كانت في ناس عم تقول هي فقاعه ام لا. بس اتليست انت هلا عم تشغل مخك وتفكر انه في مبلغ مالي من راتبي رح امسكه وحطه على جنب واستثمر فيه.
احنا كنا نتكلم عن فيفا
تماما.
العاب يعني
قد ايه خسرت مصاري بالفيفا؟ ايه حتى عينك بعيني، قد ايه خسرت مصاري على الجيمنج والالعاب.
وايد صراحه وايد. لو خذيت الفلوس استثمرت
تماما. كنت عم بقول له لعلي لو اخذت المصاري اللي حطيتها على فيفا واستثمرت بالبيتكوين من زمان، من اول ما طلع، قد ايه ما كنت مليونير هلا. ما كنت قاعد معنا حتى.
تخيلي بس مليونير وين قاعد بالبيت انا مرتاح
تماما.
بس قاعد استثمر من هناك يمين يسار فوق تحت.
هاي الفكره بالعالم اللي عم نعيشه نحن. وخلينا ننتقل لثالث عمله بدنا نحكي عنها اليوم، هي عمله اللايت كوين. عم تتداول بسعر 334 حيث ارتفعت بنسبه 20.37% على الصعيد اليومي لتسجل اعلى نسبه ارتفاع يوميه منذ وقت طويل جدا. هذا التحرك نحو الاعلى دفع لايت كوين لتسجل قيمه سوقيه اعلى من $22 مليار او 0.98% من مجمل القيمه السوقيه للعملات الرقميه. عم نشوف انه عمله رقميه تعادل شركات عملاقة كبيرة جدا موجودة في الأسواق منذ سنوات عديدة، وعند المستوى القياسي حيث كانت قيمة لايت كوين السوقية تصل إلى $20 مليار إذا بدنا نقارنها في الماضي. تداولت لايت كوين في نطاق بين $311 وبين $337 خلال 24 ساعة الأخيرة، وعلى مدار الأيام السبعة الأخيرة تم مشاهدة لايت كوين عند صعود من حيث القيمة وبنسبة تغير ارتفعت بشكل كبير. أما حجم لايت كوين ضمن التداول يعني مثل ما ذكرنا ال 24 ساعة الماضية والأخيرة لحتى هذا الوقت تقريبا 12 مليار أو 5.06% من مجمل أحجام العملات الرقمية. كما وكان التداول عند نطاق بين $248 وبين $337 خلال الأيام السبعة الأخيرة. مثل ما ذكرنا في تركيز كتير كبير على هذه العملات اللي ذكرناها اليوم، أكيد البيتكوين، ولكن البيتكوين يعني عم تنزل شوي. عندنا الدوج كوين، الإثيريوم عليهم يعني كل الاهتمام بهالأيام هاي، وأيضا اللايت كوين. طبعا هلأ ومن دون إطالة رح نعلن عن مفاجأة الموسم مع رائد الأعمال الأمريكي غاري في. مقابلتنا معه من أمريكا، هو رح يكون معنا لحتى يعلن عن المشروع الضخم اللي صار له عم يشتغل عليه فترة طويلة. كلكم فيكم تستثمروا فيه، حتى الأشخاص اللي موجودين في الشرق الأوسط في الدول العربية يمكنكم الاستثمار فيه، وفيه كتير فوائد أيضا. يلا علي.
يلا هي
Gary Vaynerchuk, welcome to the show Smashy Crypto, a serial entrepreneur, chairman of VaynerX, and he is releasing his first NFT collection called VFriends. Gary, before we even start, I must say I'm super grateful for the internet, super grateful for Zoom for this to happen.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be on with all of you, and it's a very exciting time for me.
It is a very exciting time for the whole world, honestly, everything that's happening. But Gary, can you tell us more about VFriends? What's happening there? What's the big surprise?
So I basically have a very ambitious project that is looking to create an intellectual property that I'm going to manage for the rest of my life in these characters. empathetic elephant, lit llama, flexing fox, these characters that really represent things in culture that I'm excited about, mainly positive attributes of human beings in the form of these creatures. But also all 10,255 tokens are actually a ticket to a conference that I've announced as well called VCon, a yearly conference that will happen first in Q1 2022, global conference, likely in America the first year. I'm still working on those details, but I have global ambitions for the conference. And that aims to be, South by Southwest, Coachella, Davos, World Economic Summit, Web Summit, kind of the offsites and a little bit of like summer camp, just a very big conference. So the tokens come with a 3-year ticket to that conference.
Wow.
There's other surprises like gift goats, 555 of them. You get the token and then you get things in the mail surprised every other couple months. And then the big part, the access tokens. These are tokens that when you buy the art and the collectible in the NFT, in the smart contract, it also gives you opportunity to either play me in tennis one-on-one, or go to a Knicks game and sit courtside with me, or be part of a 10-person group dinner, or get a 5-minute FaceTime. So really broken down into the conference admission tickets, the gift tickets, and these incredible one-of-ones, the access tickets. And my main objective was to show all of the individuals who are lucky and fortunate enough to have major audiences what a proper NFT project should look like. We've had too many celebrities and influencers just put out a piece of art, and to me, I'm worried about what's going to happen to the collector on the other side. They buy something for $20,000. Is it going to be worth 20 or is it going to be worth 1? For me, it was important to take advantage of the smart contract and create all these off-chain, as I call them, realities, real life off-chain realities, while still spending my life building up the intellectual property to create a collectability around the characters I created.
And the characters, you drew them yourself, right?
I did. Listen, like I said to a lot of my friends, art is in the eye of the beholder. These, drawing might be a stretch. I'm a very solid doodler. It was important to me that these characters were made by me, not teaming up with a great digital artist, which would be amazing, but I really wanted to draw them. I mean, it's obnoxious to say, but in a lot of ways, I have very big ambition for the IP, for the brand. And I'm no Walt Disney drawing Mickey Mouse, but it was important for me to be the first touch. I have a funny feeling if my aspirations are achieved over the next 5 decades, there will be far more talented artists that come along and maybe spoof up the art and 3D and render the characters. But yes, it was a very important part for me. It had to be authentic to me, and I'm glad I did it.
No, but you're being humble. They look good, so
thank you.
Okay, so we're talking about NFTs. Can you describe for us, please, like the simplest way to describe NFT?
An NFT is a non-fungible token. It's a piece of data that is on the blockchain. It's a digital asset. The simplest way is, I always tell people in their 30s, 40s, 50s that are like, I go, have your kids bought something in a video game? Have they bought a skin in a Fortnite? Have they bought a upgrade in their mobile phone for $6? Have they in a game bought something? And the answer is yes. And then I say, do you care if you have a blue check mark on Instagram or have 1 million followers on it, on Twitter or YouTube? And they say yes. And I'm like, well, those are things that are digital. That blue check mark is digital and doesn't really mean anything, but it does mean something. And I think the other thing that happens is, so everyone's focused on the collectibles, right? The collectible, the art, $69 million. I'm focused on what the contract that the blockchain, it's a ledger. It's a ledger. It's a ledger that allows contracts to be built. So leases, wedding, like marriage certificates, everything definitely tickets. I would tell everybody who's watching right now, it is very, very likely that you will go to a concert in 3 years where the ticket is actually just an NFT, and by then we'll probably have NFT readers. I also think the thing that people are missing is I believe in 5 to 10 years, we will have public wallets.
Okay.
Like they will show all of our tokens, what concerts we went to. Did we buy Gary Vee tokens? Did we buy this token? Do we have a Beeple? And I think those
That's dangerous.
It is. It's very dangerous in a great way. Let me explain. It's the reason people care about fashion. It's the reason people care about Teslas. It's the reason people care about taking a photo and showing where they are on vacation. People need to communicate. Unfortunately, most people need affirmation and they try to use money to make themselves feel better. That's a whole different subject. But even people that don't, they'll use the way they dress to show that they're humble or that they don't care or whatever it might be. And so I think that is going to be the legacy of NFTs, the utility, what it actually does in the real world, and the human psychology of why we collect certain tokens to be part of a group. No different than if we collect Banksies or Air Jordans or Pokemon cards.
Yep. You jumped on the trend quickly though, like we recently started hearing about NFTs. So how did that happen?
In general, I pay attention. It's what I do for a living. I really, really have been good at it. I spend a lot of time listening. Everybody sees me talking, but really I'm listening. It was just very obvious to me in November, December, something was happening, but I was very busy with running the business. And so I had to wait to January to really look. And after about 30, 40 hours of homework, especially on CryptoPunks and some of the other big ones, I said, it's time, it's happening.
Yeah.
And I got very serious about it. And, much like social media, much like the internet itself, I think this one will be another thing that I was early on. I mean, there's been many people much earlier than me. It's been around for 40 years. 4 years, I would say. 2017 is when you started really seeing it on Ethereum. So I'm good at being early right before everybody comes. Not nerds, not super technical, but in between the super technical and the OGs that I respect so much, and the millions and millions and millions of first movers amongst the normal people. And then 3 years later, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Do you think this is an outcome of the lesson you've learned from Uber investment that you talked about, that you did not jump on that?
No, that was a different story. I didn't, Uber, I didn't invest in because the two people that were the founders were incredible, Garrett and Travis. It was a side project when they asked me to invest. They were hiring other people to run the company. I had just failed in two companies, Corked, a wine social network, and Forest, a developer and designer community, by outsourcing to other people. So I thought that was what was going to happen to them. What happened instead was once Travis saw that it was serious, he decided to run the company and it exploded. And then I invested in the company as soon as he did that. Mm. So, and Uber was not a micro trend in my eyes. It was maybe it was mobile becoming more significant to our lives, but it was a very specific company. Whereas social media, e-commerce, and now NFTs is a massive social, kind of trend of human behavior, which is probably where my bigger strength is.
Yeah, but some people are saying, I don't know if you saw like the disaster girl meme, for instance, like yes. It was sold for over $400,000. Yes. So people are saying, why would I buy something? It's there on the internet for free.
Because that person that owns it can now start charging for it to be on the internet for free.
Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting.
I mean, I can watch a YouTube video of Mickey Mouse for free.
Exactly.
So I think people are very human beings when they are met with new stuff is usually say no. Mm-hmm. I usually say yes. That is the difference.
Yeah, and honestly, what I admire the most is like you in 2017 when you were asked about Ethereum, all of those things, you were very clear. You were like, I didn't do my homework yet. I'm busy. And then when I do, I will start posting content about it. I'm not doing that right now. So yeah.
I don't like talking about things I don't know. I'm a very big personality. My reputation is very important to me. And I'm aware that if I go out and say something crazy that does not become true, it undermines everything else that I've ever said. I have a lot of leverage in the fact that I've been very right about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And, sometimes somebody on Twitter will be like, yeah, but if you keep guessing 100 things, you'll get lucky sometimes. And I always say to them, sometimes I'll jump in and say, I have everything on the internet for the last 10 years. Show me where I'm wrong. Because the things I'm wrong about, I usually figure out before I say them.
True.
So I'm doing my homework. So yes, that's kind of the way I roll.
Yeah, amazing. So if we go back to VeeFriends, do we have access for it here in the Middle East, in Dubai? Can we invest in it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the best part, right? Like it's unbelievable that this is the first project for me that, we can go really global on, which is amazing. Like for me, the fact that everybody, I've done sneakers, I've done wine, I've done all these things. And most of my international friends have been unable to participate, but
True.
The blockchain is global. And so, yes, this is a worldwide release. Amazing.
What is needed though from our side, like if we want to participate?
So you need to connect with a non-custodial wallet. So MetaMask, any wallet that Wallet Connect uses.
Okay.
And you need Ethereum in that because all the tokens are sold with Ethereum.
Amazing. Why did you pick Ethereum first? And do you think you're going to go for other coins in the future?
Yeah, I do think there's other incredible blockchains that I'm excited about, and I'm definitely focused on them. And but Ethereum is really the OG. It's the most complex. It's the one I've been paying attention to the longest. It's the one I felt most comfortable with. It's the one I believe in the most as a currency. So I'm going to take in the dollars, and they become. I just believe in it and understand it the most. That doesn't mean I think it's the only one, or maybe even the most important one. I just have to do that homework over time.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. I jumped personally on Discord, and honestly, I love the rules that you guys have. Like immediately, like positivity, positive vibes only, and you're protecting people from scams. Like you're emphasizing on that a lot. Like make sure to ask for video proof if someone tells you I'm Gary V or something like that. So can you tell us more about that, please?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, a lot of people need to be educated and need to be protected. I saw this when I launched WineLibrary.com in 1997. Too many people didn't know what to do with their credit cards. They could get tricked. They could put in the wrong, people were scared. So, it's important to me that we educate.
100%. But I've noticed the vibe and the conversations, even between the youth in real life as well, has changed so much lately. Like people are talking about investment, they're talking about cryptocurrencies. They are curious. So what's your take on that?
I think we're seeing the rise of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is cool. It's like being a celebrity now. And so I think all these kids, Robinhood and entrepreneurship and me, I think there's a lot of interest amongst the youth, which I think is good and bad. I think it's good because I do think in general, the world needed a little more education on all the incredible opportunities to them. It wasn't just school, doctor, engineer,
True.
I think it's bad because I think a lot of people are trying to become entrepreneurs when they're not. And when you're not self-aware, you can always become unhappy. Just because entrepreneurship looks cool. Entrepreneurship is hard. Right now I'm doing this incredible interview with you, but like there's 400 things I'm worried about and concerned about, and it's kind of like being a firefighter. You could be happy and then boom. And if you don't have the stomach for that, it becomes very stressful. And I've seen a lot of kids, and not just kids, grown-ups over the last decade try to become entrepreneurs because it's cool and become very unhappy and get into very bad behaviors, to get out of that mental anxiety, which scares me, all the way to the worst thing that can happen. I know people who've lost their lives, taken their lives in entrepreneurship because they weren't ready for the part that most people don't talk about, which is with entrepreneurship, it's lonely. If you fail, if VFriends fails, I can't blame it on anybody. It's on me. And a lot of people struggle with that judgment. They want to look successful more than even being successful. And for me, fortunately, through incredible parenting and the circumstances of growing up with nothing, I think helped me. That's just not how I live my life.
And in that opportunity, would like to say happy birthday to your mom, Tamara. It was her birthday yesterday.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for saying
that. But like VFriends is a great opportunity for each individual to actually be an investor, make money, make passive income. What do you think is the excuse that will stop people from doing that?
Well, first of all, there is no sure thing. As hard as I'm going to work, like you don't know, China and America can get into a war, right? People forget.
Yeah,
there could be a global pandemic. People believe that, but they didn't believe it 2 years ago,
True.
Right? So things can happen, and I also think passive investing is a very unique word. I think people get addicted to the idea of making money passively, but there's nothing passive about the homework you have to put in to make a good decision, the stomach you have to hold it, or when it goes down,
the patience,
the strategy, taking in 85 different pieces of information to make a good decision. Nothing comes easy. And so what I would say is, if you're not educated on NFTs, then don't buy NFTs. Spend 50 hours. I spend hundreds and hundreds of hours, and I'm smart and I'm good and I'm capable and I have a good experience. And I took hundreds and hundreds of hours before I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then even then, I believe 95% of NFTs are not going to be a good investment.
Do you think? Yeah, it's a big number. But do you think
I think the whole thing is going to be huge, like the internet, but I think 95% of the projects, there's too much supply, not enough demand.
Yeah. Do you think NFTs will be important for brands as well?
100%. I think they're going to be revenue streams and they're going to be marketing collateral. I think I think NFTs are going to be the next thing like social media to brands. I think, when I was there in 2005, I'm like, social media, brands were like, and I think now with more gray hair and some wrinkles, NFTs. And I think brands are less, because the world is so much more tech, but I don't think they understand how big it's going to be.
Okay, so we talked about cryptocurrencies. I would like to ask, since like just a couple of minutes ago, Dogecoin passed 0.5. So, and you said before it was underrated. Do you still think it's underrated?
I think what's underrated about Doge is it speaks to what's happening. Now, I thought Doge was underrated when it was under a penny, now, keeps moving. Who knows? I'll be honest with you. I'm very uncomfortable in cryptocurrencies. I don't feel comfortable in currency, Bitcoin. Ethereum has a price, but I understand it more as the platform to build NFTs on top of. I don't really feel like I'm the right person to talk about the currencies because I don't spend enough time on it. I'm not interested in making money on the value of money. I'm interested in the creativity and psychology about NFTs. But it's fascinating to watch, and I do think meme culture is very real.
Yeah. You were kept on saying NFT now, and I just want to ask, like, do you think this or that, NFT or garage sailing for Gary V personally?
I think garage sailing, but I'll tell you, NFTs have a lot to do with my love for garage sailing. And because if you watch those episodes, I'm looking for nostalgia.
Yeah.
I'm looking for stories. I'm buying old stuffed animals, old toys. This is intellectual property. I understand its worth. And now that we can do that on the digital blockchain, it's remarkable.
Gary V, thank you so much for your time and being with us at Smashy Crypto Show. We can't wait, honestly. And go, guys, go invest.